What's up, guys? The Snowman here, repping the Australian Open today as tennis's first major of the season just a few days away. I'm very pumped for the 2023 tennis season. In this video right now, I'll analyze the women's singles draw in Melbourne. Please check out my men's preview too. Subscribe to the Snowman Sports Media for more tennis previews and informational videos. But for now, let's jump into this women's Aussie Open draw. A couple of big names missing from this draw. Simona Halep is suspended due to a positive doping test, and we also got the news this week that four-time major winner Naomi Osaka is pregnant and expecting her first child later this summer, so that's two multi-time Grand Slam winners out of the picture. We're also without the defending champion in Melbourne. That's because Ash Barty shockingly retired 10 months ago, leaving the WTA world in the palm of Iga Swiatek's hands, and that's where we pick things up in section number 1 of this Aussie Open draw. Swiatek is the world number 1 by a wide margin. Such a prolific 2022 season for the pole. 8 titles overall compared to only 9 losses the whole year. 2 more slams at Roland Garros and the US Open. 4 WTA 1000. She had the longest win streak of the century at 37 matches in a row. And maybe most impressively, a 15-2 mark versus fellow players in the top 10. Swiatek was ruthless all season long. She's got twice as many rankings points as the world number 2, Ons Jabeur. And just like the ATP number 1, Carlos Alcaraz, Swiatek may just be getting started at the young age of 21. I've got to say, though, this is one of the toughest draws possible for Swiatek. Yes, the first couple rounds look manageable, but then potentially number 25 Bouzkova or the former US Open champ Bibi Andreescu in the third round. You've got dangerous seeds as potential fourth round opponents in number 22 Elena Rybakina and 13 Danielle Collins. 2 players who can absolutely take the racket out of your hands, especially Rybakina. We saw what she did at Wimbledon last year. Then in the other half, Badosa and Ostapenko. The 11 seed Paula Badosa a bit under the radar after a somewhat disappointing 2022. I'm expecting a bounce back year for her. Number 17 Ostapenko versus Diana Yastremska should be a fiery first round collision. 2 players not known for their warm sportsmanship at the net once matches conclude. That one could have about 5 or 6 twists and turns to the plot. Then at the bottom, 7 seed Coco Gauff sealed a dominant week last week by winning her 3rd career title in Auckland. The 18-year-old breezed by the competition, 5 straight set wins. Gauff looking to build upon a hugely successful 2022 that saw her reach her maiden slam final in Paris. The Aussie Open, the only major that she hasn't made the second week of yet. That's not to mention Emma Raducanu, who could meet Gauff in the second round. I can't imagine the hype surrounding that match in both the American and British media if that clash comes to fruition. It's a star-laden section of the draw, but it's also a high-ceiling section. Players like Ostapenko, Rybakina, Badosa, ladies who can catch fire almost out of nowhere. That's what worries me the most for Iga Swiatek. This is no surefire cakewalk to the semifinals. On to section 2. If you're looking for another player who may be able to knock Swiatek off her pedestal or at least challenge her in any way, the 3 seed Jess Pegula, a great place to look. She's coming off a triumph in the United Cup with Team USA, a tournament where she went 4-1 in singles competition, including a 6-2, 6-2 victory over Swiatek. Pegula, one of the most steady and consistent players on the tour, had a tremendous 2022, especially towards the end where she won in Guadalajara, defeating 4 Grand Slam champions in the process. During the majors last year, Pegula lost to Petra Martic at Wimbledon, but then only lost to number 1s in the other 3 Grand Slams, once to Barty, twice to Swiatek, so she's really close to breaking through in a big way. Things could get tricky for her in the third round with either Kostyuk or Anisimova. Remember, number 28, Amanda Anisimova knocked off Naomi Osaka last year in Melbourne, an excellent hardcourt player, and she and Kostyuk have only met once a few years ago when they were both still teenagers. The Ukrainian a winner on clay that day. That is absolutely one of the highest quality first round matchups in this draw. Plenty of former major champs in this quarter. The 20 seed Barbara Krejcikova
The 15 seed Petra Kvitova off to a nice start in 23. Speaking of major champs, 2 more meet in round 1. Number 24 Vika Azarenka against Sofia Kenin. It's been a long road back for Kenin, who won the 2020 Aussie Open. She's ranked in the high 200s right now, but Kenin just won 3 matches in a row for the first time since Roland Garros 2021. So the American creating some momentum in Hobart. Expect some marathon rallies in that tilt. Number 10 Madison Keys is 5-0 to start the year, albeit against some weaker opposition at the United Cup as Team USA's number 2 singles player. And towards the bottom, number 6 Maria Sakkari trending up to 3-1 in singles play at the United Cup. Certainly one of the most athletic and best movers in the world. I still worry about Sakkari in big matches, though. Does she have the mental fortitude to get over the hump? She's 1-6 in career WTA finals. That one win was the 250 level clay event in 2019. Sakkari only 7-10 in ITF finals too, ITF being the minor league. So I think it's an open section. I can totally see Anisimova or maybe Kvitova making a deep run. Lots of opportunity. The 4 seed Caroline Garcia leading the way in our third quarter, and she's got a real chance to win this title. Third in terms of odds before the draw came out, only behind Swiatek and Sabalenka. Garcia had quite the rebirth in 2022. Started the year ranked in the 70s, but she quickly rediscovered her form from 2017 that saw her end the year in the top 10. The French woman up to a career high ranking of 4. That's because of her incendiary play last summer and fall, quickly surging up the ranks because of a 1,000 level title in Cincinnati, a semifinal at the US Open, and a title at the WTA Finals in Fort Worth, Texas. And I always like siding with the year-end finals winner early on the next season because it's got to leave a good taste in your mouth. Maybe not for Muguruza last year, but the bottom line is momentum is on Garcia's side. She held serve over 80% of the time last season. Nobody was better. A quick 2-0 start for her at the United Cup. And you can't really call Garcia a dark horse because she's a top 4 seed, but I'm super high on her chances here. She'll have a tough opponent in round 2. That Cornet Fernandez meeting in round 1 should be thrilling. Aside from that, I love Garcia's chances to make the quarters. Number 16 Anett Kontaveit hasn't looked great to start the year. Then on the other side, you have players like number 9 Kudermetova, Karolina Pliskova. Number 8 Daria Kasatkina. We know about her supreme variety on the court. She had by all accounts the best season of her career in 2022. Kasatkina in great form at the moment. Semis in Adelaide, recently defeating Kvitova. Not as many dangerous floaters in this section. I think it's probably the weakest section on paper. I'm a little disappointed that the 18-year-old Czech player Linda Noskova didn't make it through qualifying. She's been turning some heads lately, but nonetheless, I like Garcia to make it out of this quarter and into the Final Four. That would be back-to-back major semifinal appearances for the world number 4. Looking at the fourth and final quarter of the draw, world number 2 Ons Jabeur sitting at the bottom of your screen. A breakthrough to stardom for the Tunisian last year. Major final appearances at Wimbledon and the US Open. Won the 1,000 level event in Madrid. Jabeur, the third most wins on tour last season. Just an awesome mix of power and precision. There's definitely opportunity in the women's game right now. So much parity aside from Swiatek, and Jabeur taking full advantage. She draws the former Roland Garros semifinalist in the first round, Tamara Zidansek. The player just above Zidansek can do one better and say she's a former French Open finalist. That's Marketa Vondrousova, who's aiming to climb back up the rankings. That would be an interesting second rounder if she met Jabeur. Some real power with the next 3 seeded players. 31 Kaya Kanepi, 18 Samsonova, and 14 Haddad Maia. I've got my eye on the 12 seed Belinda Bencic, always dangerous on hard court. The Olympic gold medalist from 2021. I'd still give her pretty decent odds to make a major final before the end of her career, and honestly, this could be an open draw for her. Bencic could meet number 21 Martina Trevisan in the third round. We know she's good on clay. Roland Garros quarters in 2020, semis last year. Hard court, a different story. Was 0-12 against top 50 players on hard court. That changed at the United Cup. Trevisan with an inspired 3-set win over number 6 Maria Sakkari. Elise Mertens versus Garbiñe Muguruza in the first round should be entertaining. although Muguruza may legitimately be broken as a tennis player. I honestly have no idea what happened. She wrapped up 2021 by winning the year-end finals and finishing at 3 in the world. Last year, she went 12-17 total, has already lost twice this season, and ranked number 58. I'm kind of at a loss with Muguruza's form at the moment, and the 5-seed Aryna Sabalenka has the second best odds to reign supreme in Melbourne. She's already got a title this season, the WTA 500 in Adelaide, where the Belarusian laid waste to a field featuring some pretty talented players. Sabalenka won 8 sets out of 8, demolishing opponents with heavy artillery from the back of the court. She led the tour again last year in double faults and double fault percentage, but seems to be in a great rhythm right now. I'd love to see Bencic and Sabalenka play. They haven't met in 4 years. Overall, I do like Bencic in quarter number 4, and then Swiatek versus Garcia seems like a realistic finals pairing. Always tough to pick against Iga, but it wouldn't shock me at all if Garcia is your 2023 Australian Open champion.
Thank you so much for watching my Women's Australian Open preview. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you agree with, disagree with from my analysis. Who do you think takes it home in Melbourne? Please check out my men's draw preview too, and subscribe to the Snowman Sports Media for more tennis content if you're enjoying the videos. And thanks a lot. See you soon. Cheers.